Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a video we've all been waiting for. I'm not really quite sure about that, but it's a video that I've been waiting for a long time. I'm doing another foundation review. I've been doing a lot recently. That wasn't really my plan for this channel, but I really enjoy filming foundations, and every time I get a hold of one that I've been interested in, I just thought, why not? Let's film it. But this one in particular is especially interesting for me because it has been hyped up by Jaclyn Hill and by several other beauty gurus now, and so I thought I would make a tutorial using it or a first impressions video using it. It is the Dior Skin Forever foundation. This is that expensive foundation that Jaclyn Hill keeps talking about. It's her current favorite, and I want to know if it's worth the price. This retails for $50, so it's a pretty pricey foundation, but is it worth the splurge? Let's get into it. I'm so excited. I sure hope that this is the right shade for me. I picked this out in Sephora, so it seemed like it was, but then I read later that it oxidizes a little bit, so I'm hoping that it's still gonna work for me. I chose the shade 15 Tender Beige. It looks like it will match me, and I am so excited to put this on. I'm going to wear it with a primer because I always do. I always prep my skin somehow. For me personally, I just never wear a foundation without something under it, whether it's a moisturizer or a primer. So I'm gonna go with my Makeup Forever Step 1 primer. This is the hydrating primer. I'm just going to put that all over the skin. This is my first like super high-end foundation. I've purchased some that are like $40, but I've never purchased a foundation that is $50. So I'm really excited to see if this is worth it. I'm going to blend out one side with a brush and one side with a sponge as always. Let's get into it. So the packaging is gorgeous on this. It comes with a really beautiful lid that pops off, and there's a pump. Thank heavens. I love when foundations have pumps in them. I just think that's the most effective way to get the most out of your product. So I'm just going to do one pump, and I'm going to dot this all over the skin. Let's see how far that goes. I'm not quite sure. So this side I'll do it with a brush. This is my Sigma Flat Kabuki brush, and let's see what happens. So that blended out really smoothly. Those 3 drops did a little bit of coverage. I think this will build up to a full coverage, so I want a full coverage for sure. It has a scent. It smells like flowers, which is kind of different. I've never had a foundation that's scented, actually. At least not this strong. It's a pretty strong scent. I'm just gonna keep on building this up. So far I really like how it blends out. As far as coverage goes, that didn't do like a full coverage on me. So I'm gonna do the other side of my face, and then we will kind of see what happens and maybe build it up in certain areas. So this is another whole pump. The pumps are kind of small, and I'm going to blend this side out with my Aesthetica Beauty Sponge. So far the shade is working. I hope that it doesn't oxidize too much. In a minute we will find out. The smell is pretty strong. It's like really prominent right now. It's not a bad smell, but I'm just not used to like scented foundations like that. So let's take a closer look. I think that I like this side with the sponge a little bit better. It just seemed to press into the skin a little more, which I always like. On camera it looks like it looks pretty good, but for me personally, I need more coverage than this, so I'm going to be layering, which makes me nervous because that's like, I feel like it's $1 a pump, you know what I mean? So that's quite a bit more. Let's work this into the skin and see what happens. So that's with 2 layers, definitely a lot better, but my blemishes are still showing through, which is kind of a bummer for me because I feel like I can get more full coverage with other foundations, but I do like the overall finish of it. It seems like it's oxidizing slightly on me, but it still works, I think, with my neck color, so I'm happy that I chose a decent color. I do like the finish of it so far. The only thing that I'm not liking is just that I had to use a lot more than I wanted to get the coverage that I wanted on my blemishes, and even then they're still kind of poking through, so that's the only downside so far, but other than that it looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my makeup, and I will be right back. Oh, I just realized I was so excited that I didn't do my normal intro, so please make sure to hit that subscribe button while you're here, and also hit the little bell if you're already subscribed so you will be notified every time I upload. And now I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished my makeup. I'm really liking how it looks right now. To be honest, honest, I wasn't 100% like floored, super impressed when I first put it on. I feel like this might be one of those foundations that just like wears better throughout the day than it does when you first apply it. I didn't have any troubles putting any products on top of it, but right now I really like how it looks on camera and in real life. My only complaint so far was just that the coverage was kind of a bummer. Like, I don't really want to layer up too many layers of that foundation because it is so expensive, so that was my only thing that I'm kind of iffy about. I'm going to be checking in. It is kind of late today, but I'm going to be wearing this over a few days, so I will kind of have a better opinion about it by then. It's 4:17 in the evening. I'm going to be running errands. I'm actually going to be going outside, so that'll be a good test to see how it holds up in the heat. So right now I love the finish. I really do. It looks really, really nice, but I wasn't like floored like I was expecting to be upon application. So I'm really curious to see how it wears throughout the day, and I will check back in with you guys in a few hours. Okay, so it is currently 11 o'clock p.m. So that means I've been wearing this foundation, let's see, I think I checked in at 4 before. So it's been about 7 hours. I have to be honest with you guys, I'm really impressed with how this is worn. It doesn't look that much different to me than it did when I first applied it. The areas where you see that aren't like super covered up, I feel like that was already there before. So overall, I feel like it lasted a really long time, and I feel like it could still last a lot longer. So I'm really curious to wear it tomorrow and kind of wear it for a longer period of time during the day. It did get a little shiny through the T-zone, but normally I have issues with like smile lines and around the nose. There's a little bit of breakage around the nose, but the smile lines look really good. This might be a foundation that grows on me. I will be honest, I wasn't super impressed with the first impression, my first application, just because it didn't really cover up my blemishes very well, but I can see how nicely it's worn on my skin for several hours. The products that I put on top of them are still on my face, like my blush is still intact like I just applied it. So I'm really impressed with that. I'm excited to play around with different primers, maybe no primer, kind of figure out how this foundation worked and maybe if I can make it work for me in any way, and I will be sharing all of my findings with you guys. So as of now, my hopes are higher than before for this foundation, but of course I'm going to give it a couple more days and try it out in different ways. But I am super impressed with how it's worn throughout the day. There's really no breakage. It looks really, really nice. So far so good. Let's see what we think tomorrow. I will do a couple more check-ins, and then at the end, of course, I will give you guys my final lowdown. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so it is about 5:50 on June 10th, which is the day I'm going to be uploading this. It's been several days. I believe I filmed that first part on Tuesday, so I've had a lot of time to play around with this foundation. I've worn it every single day since. I know I didn't do like a check-in or anything, but I really feel like I know exactly what I'm going to tell you, and I have a really solid opinion, so I'm really excited about that. So I'm wearing the foundation today, and I really, really like how it is wearing. I feel like I found the perfect way for me to really like this foundation, if that makes sense. So here are my final opinions. I'm not 100% sure if this foundation is marketed as a full coverage foundation. I think it did say medium to full coverage. For me personally, I would say it's more of a light to medium, and it looks better as a light to medium coverage foundation. So with that being said, I guess I'll start out with the cons. One con could be the strong scent. It is a really strong scent. It's not a bad scent, but I do notice it every single time I put it on. It does fade away after a few minutes though, so if scents bother you, that might be a problem. Even though it doesn't last all day on the skin, that is something that I feel like I could do without with this foundation. Another con is it does oxidize slightly. So I feel like this shade works for me. I feel like I may have even been able to go one shade lighter and it still would have worked. So just keep that in mind if you do go purchase this foundation. Swatch it in the store and see what color it actually turns before purchasing, or grab a sample and test it out in natural lighting and see which one matches you after it oxidizes. Another con for me would be I was expecting it to be a little more full coverage than it was. I don't know if that was just me misunderstanding. In fact, let me look up and see what it is marketed as, because if they say it's only a light to medium coverage foundation, then it will make sense, but I swear that I read that it was medium to full coverage. So it does say that it's medium to full coverage, and I don't think I would necessarily agree with that, just because for me, for it to be full coverage, that means that my blemishes should be like non-existent. You know know what I mean? And they definitely still show through, and also some of the other areas on my skin still show through, even with like 3 layers of this foundation. So I kind of disagree with that, just comparing it to other full coverage foundations, but it is buildable, so I guess you can build it up to a full coverage if you want to. It just took me several layers to get the coverage that I was personally looking for at first. So those are my cons. As far as pros go, I do have several. So I love how there's SPF 35 in here, so it's a really great everyday sunscreen. Your skin's going to be protected from the sun, so I always love a sunscreen in the foundation. A con to that could be flashback. I haven't tested it in flash, and I don't remember the last time that I was in a picture with flash photography, so it's not really something that's a concern of mine right now. If I was going to an event, I may not try this unless I tested it, so I'm not quite sure if there is flashback or not. Another pro for me is the packaging. I think it's beautiful. Another pro is the pump. One thing that you should be aware of, and I kind of actually like it, the pump squirts out a significantly less amount than other makeup foundation pumps that I have, which I kind of like because then you can have a little bit more control of the amount that you're putting on, and you don't waste foundation at the end of the day. So you can start with 1 pump or 2 pumps, build it up, and then go in with a pump again. I like that because I've noticed I don't waste any foundation. Like, I use exactly what I pump out of the bottle, which I really like. Another pro for me is the longevity of this foundation. I mean, I've been wearing it for several hours today. It just starts to look even better as the day goes on, which is something that I really like. Sometimes I do have to powder up the T-zone, but it doesn't crease in my smile lines like other foundations do, so been loving that. Love the finish of it after applying as well as throughout the day. It never breaks up or anything like that. So those are the things that I have been loving about this foundation. So here are my final thoughts about this. I feel like if you are somebody who maybe like me and you have a lot of blemishes, this may not be your favorite foundation, to be honest. I understand why everybody is loving it, but if you think about it, Jaclyn Hill's face is like blemish free, and if she has a blemish, there's like ones it at a time. You know what I mean? And so if you're somebody like that who is blessed with incredible skin, I think you would love this foundation because on the areas that I don't have blemishes, it's beautiful, and you could just wear a sheer to medium coverage and it would just make your face look like your skin but better. But for people who may be a little more acne prone like me, you may not like it at first. I feel like though I have found a really great way for me to wear it without feeling guilty about pumping out 7 pumps, you know, to cover my entire face. That's way too much, you know. So today I tried something that I really actually liked. I really liked the finish of it. You can still see a little bit of my blemishes through the foundation. I'm not like super picky about that. I feel like I'd rather have my skin look like skin than have people notice like, oh, she's wearing makeup. I don't mind if there's a little bit of sheerness around the blemish areas, around my cheeks where I have blemishes. Today what I did before I put on the foundation, I actually dotted some Tarte Shape Tape Concealer on any blemishes that were super red and blended that out with a beauty blender, and then I went in with the Forever foundation on top of that, and I feel like it really helped me save product, and then it really helped cover up the blemishes without using more of this because I don't want to pump like a billion pumps out of here. It's an expensive foundation, plus I feel like it honestly looks better with less. You can build it up, but the more I built it up, the more makeup-y it looks, so I feel like it works best with just one solid even layer, maybe a little bit more on places that you want more coverage, but I would recommend using a little bit with this because that's just when I felt like it looked the best. So I've really been liking how it's wearing today. I feel like this is how I will wear it, and it makes me feel a little bit better because I only used about 2 pumps of this, and I think before I was using 3 to 4, so significantly less. I just found that that worked really well for me. Hopefully this foundation review helped you guys. If you're interested in buying this foundation, I would honestly recommend it. I would recommend it to anybody who has pretty normal skin. If you're more blemish prone, I would recommend maybe getting a sample before splurging on it, just because for me personally, I had to figure out what worked for me as far as coverage goes. So if you're somebody who wants like flawless full coverage, I'm not sure if you're gonna love this. I think it looks beautiful on the skin. I'm happy with most things about this foundation. So is it worth the splurge? To me, it depends on your skin, to be honest. Is it a great foundation? Absolutely. I'm just not 100% sure if everybody's gonna love this. So those are my final thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have tried this or if you're interested in trying it. Let me know how it's been wearing on your skin. Let me know if you love it or maybe it didn't live up to all your expectations. I would love to hear your guys' opinions. Also, as always, comment down below and let me me know what other foundations you would like for me to try out for you guys and kind of give my opinion on. As always, my opinion is just an opinion. I just always try to be honest with you guys with everything that I try. So that was my honest opinion. Whether you agree or disagree with it, that's okay. We're all different. We all have different skin types, and so I love sharing my opinion about things, but also remember you can always develop your own opinion on things even if it's different than mine. So yeah, once again, please make sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out, and I will see you all in my next video. Love you. Bye!